Hello there all you absolutely magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, the channel where we get to talk about nature while playing games. My name is Will and we are back in Empires of the Undergrowth, and the Formica Ereptors are moving into North America. So today we are playing A Bridge Too Far. Now this Formica Ereptor colony has taken on the appearance of the fire ants, and as such also have fire ant workers and fire ant soldiers as part of their colony. Additionally, they also have taken the rapid-fire wood ants as the ranged soldiers, and oddly enough, this colony seems to have taken a liking for the little black ants, and they have got the Monomorium carbonarium here as their secret weapon, along with the super soldiers of the Phydae mauricii ants. So, will they survive a bridge too far? Let's find out, shall we? The main concern for this new Formica Ereptor colony is getting food quickly enough to start building up their colony. Luckily, the fire ant workers are very good at what they do, collecting food as quickly as they can. And of course, to help speed up this process, the Formica Ereptors are hatching a new brood of fire ant workers. But workers alone will not be enough. This colony needs soldiers, and they immediately start hatching Formica rufa. Now, with a small army gathered, they set out to a brave new world. This brave new world, however, is to be flooded very, very soon. The fire ants, however, are used to this, as they originate in an area that is the largest flooded grassland in the world. These ants come from the Pantamal, and their solution to flooding is to simply form massive rafts. And that is exactly what these ants will do when the time comes. They will hook their tarsi into one another and collectively float away with their queen and brood safe from the floodwaters. The water is starting to rise, and with it the bugs in the lower lying area are sure to make a dash for higher ground. The Formica Ereptors must get rid of invertebrates such as this false bombardier beetle, the checkered beetle larvae, and anything else that stand in their way if they stand a chance. Luckily, the ranged attacks of the Formica rufas have proven to be very effective at taking down some of the larger invertebrates that they have encountered. How they fare against the amphibians is still up for debate. The first magnolia green jumping spider has arrived, followed shortly behind by a second. This colony is in real danger of being wiped out before they have even had a chance to establish. Luckily again, the Formica rufas make short work of these spiders. A swath of checkered beetle larvae are making their way towards the colony. The fire ant workers simply are not strong enough to withstand this onslaught. The Formica rufas, on the other hand, are proving very effective. Unbeknownst to the soldiers above, false bombardier beetle larvae have broken into the nest due to careless excavation by the workers. It is now a matter of life and death for this colony. Valuable resources are spent on hatching new larvae as more and more soldiers fall. Thankfully, the Formica Ereptors are able to withstand this initial onslaught. It is, however, time to create an army. Linking their legs together, the first of the fire ants in this Formica Ereptor colony have started forming a bridge between an island and the mainland. They are attempting to reach the aphids on the other side. Whether, however, they have hatched enough fire ants remain to be seen. Unfortunately for the fire ants, there are frogs about. These wood frogs, Hyla femoralis, are a nasty addition to the swamps. Invertebrates such as the fire ants form the bulk of their prey. Thankfully, the formic acid sprayed by the wood ants have irritated the frog enough and affected it to such an extent that it collapses dead. Another attempt at reaching the aphids is made. Again, the Formica Ereptors are, however, met by Hyla femoralis, as it again intercepts the ants making their way to the aphid island. Each ant it feeds on helps it regain its strength. The ants have to kill it faster than it is healing, which they thankfully manage to do. And maybe third time's a charm, as again they head to the island containing the elusive aphids. Again, the fire ants link up to form a bridge. Are there enough? Yes, indeed there are. The fire ants are able to collect the aphids. It is now a mad rush back to the colony, as the water is about to rise. It is unfortunately unlikely that this batch of soldiers will make it back to the colony before the flood waters sweep them away. Some of the fire ant soldiers are, however, fast enough to carry some of the aphids back to safety. The stragglers are washed away. A second batch of aphids have been spotted feeding on a milkweed just to the south of the colony. The fire ants are again linking their bodies together to form a makeshift bridge. More fire ant soldiers rush to the bridge to try and connect the two land areas with each other. Finally, enough fire ants link up and the Formica rufas are able to make the journey across. These aphids will be put to good use. The floodwaters have washed a tiger beetle onto the shore. This beetle will wreak havoc with the colony, however, it can also feed it. The Formica Ereptors rush to the fore, hoping to slay this massive beetle. It too, like so many before it, falls before the Formica Ereptors. A mantis fly is attempting to feed on the Formica ants. Successfully slaying a few, it will take a bit more effort on the part of the Formica Ereptors to slay this invertebrate. However, with the forces gathered, it too falls before them. As the flood waters are rising once more, more creatures are getting ready to move to higher ground. The Formica Ereptors must feed quickly if they are to return in time for the next onslaught. An adult false bombardier beetle, Galerita bicolor, is attacking the Formica Ereptor trail. Though strong and quite heavily armored, it too falls before the ants. The water level rises again, closing some paths, opening up other opportunities. The Formica Ereptors are trying to reach some more aphids. Finally, bridging the gap, they have made their way to 5 aphids feeding on the local milkweed. It is now time to rush back to the colony before the amphibians of the swamp start gathering in numbers. An eastern newt poses a threat. However, the Formica Ereptors have learned to simply avoid such nuisances. It is not worth spending energy trying to take down this newt. It will not yield enough resources to keep the colony going. It is time for the colony to expand. In order to do so, however, they need a substantial amount of food. Luckily, there's plenty of food to be found in the nest itself. Or true bombardier beetles are present in the nest, dug out by overzealous workers. These bombardier beetles, unlike the Galerita bicolor, do not spray a noxious chemical. Instead, they spray super hot liquid on those that are unfortunate enough to encounter them. That super hot liquid is produced by mixing compounds from 2 glands near the back end of the beetle. When mixed together, they create an exothermic reaction, boiling the liquid and causing it to be sprayed forth from the opening at the end of the abdomen. A truly unique and interesting way to defend yourself. The Formica Ereptors have hatched their first Phytolae mauricii super soldiers. Although they are clumsy, these soldiers will draw the attention of the attackers, allowing the other ants to do some damage. Continued rainfall in higher lying areas is causing the water to rise further. The Formica Ereptors have to continue with haste. Here is a Monomoria minimum colony on an island nearby. Perhaps if they can raid them, the food obtained by raiding the eggs and larvae of this colony will sustain the Formica Ereptors for a while still. A narrow-mouthed toad has dug into the nest from the surrounding soil. It is up to the soldiers now to defend the queen against this intrusion. And another toad has dug in. Luckily, the Phytolae mauricii ants are able to draw the attention of both these toads, while the formic acid and the Solenopsis venom from the other soldiers quickly dispatch these toads. Again, more creatures prepare to attack the Formica Ereptor colony on top of the hill as the water levels rise once more. Following the defense of their nest and the subsequent rise of the water, it is time for the Formica Ereptors to make their way to the Monomorium colony to attempt to take them out. Bombardier beetles have made it into the nest. After killing a few of the defenders, they too were brought low. The Formica Ereptors are on the move. It is time to take on the Monomorium ants. Once more the fire ants in the colony create the bridge. Once more the Formica Ereptors march forth, this time meeting stiff defense in the Monomorium colony. The Formica Ereptors have decided that the best course to take is to steal the Monomorium ants' aphids, and they are carrying them back to their nest. The Monomorium in the Formica Ereptor colony are fighting the Monomorium of the Monomorium colony. Both colonies using gaster flagging in an attempt to scare away the opponents. However, the local Monomorium ants do not have the advantage of having fire ants and Formica rufas and Phytolae maurici ants as part of their colony. Success! The Monomorium queen has been slain. It is time to carry away the spoils of war. There is, however, a Hyla femoralis in the way. This cannot stand. And so it doesn't stand for long. With fire ants remaining steady, forming a bridge, the rest of the Formica Ereptor colony can cross safely to collect the brood of the slain Monomorium colony. The great blue skimmer has landed outside the Formica Ereptor colony. This massive dragonfly is making it challenging for the Formica Ereptors to collect honeydew from their aphids on the milkweed plant. Having had enough, the Formica Ereptors launch an attack with their fire ant soldiers launching forward to bring low this massive carnivore. With massive compound eyes, dragonflies have amazing eyesight. Additionally, they are able to shoot their lower jaw forward to grab their unsuspecting prey. Both those, along with high maneuverability brought about by their four wings, would be amazing adaptations to catch aerial prey. It is less effective at catching terrestrial prey, such as these ants. Working together, the fire ants swarm on top of the dragonfly's body, attempting to bring it down. With Solenopsis venom coursing through its veins, it's only a matter of time before the great blue skimmer is slain. It attempts a takeoff, unsuccessfully, and lands adjacent to a Hyla femoralis. At this point in time, this frog may actually decide that this is a great treat, something worth trying to eat. It again tries to take off, landing on the highest point in this area. The ants follow suit. Many ants are slain in this battle, but it is only a matter of time before so too the great blue skimmer is slain, and indeed it falls to the ground. It is no more. It is only a matter of time before this Formica Ereptor colony is underwater. They must make haste to hatch enough fire ants to form a raft. Their nest is a patchwork of hastily thrown together chambers, each with a different ant species. The bulk, however, of this colony consists of fire ants, as these are the ones that will form the raft that will carry the nest to safety. Finally, enough fire ants have hatched to take this colony to safety. All they need now is to make their way to the top of the hill. As the ants of multiple species stream to the top of the hill, the fire ants start linking their bodies together. Eventually, just before the tide rises and floods the nest, the queen makes her way to the top of the raft. The larvae will be placed at the bottom to create a bit of buoyancy, and the Formica Ereptor colony is swept downstream. Where they'll end up, who knows? Well, everybody, that does bring an end to the Formica Ereptor colony in North America. Next week, we are popping over to Africa, where the Formica Ereptors are again trying to establish a colony in a new environment. Until then, stay safe, everyone. I'll see you all soon. Cheers!